forgot.
I put it on your thing. That's your account.
Okay.
It's like, where is Terry in the room? Anybody? Anybody? Anybody in the room? Anybody?
No,
All right, not even Terry yet.
not even Terry yet.
Oh, Daniel Smith. Yeah, we got. Yep, that's what we got. Hello, everybody. This is just a Pachanga Friday, basically for my brother-in-law Terry in Germany, so that he doesn't drink alone, and he's used to the happy hour. So it's happy hour, and right now it's 3 of us, 4 of us. So anyway, there's just a few of us in here. Like I said, this is just an improv. My brother-in-law is in Germany. It's 10:30 there, I believe, and
No, it's actually 11:10.
It's 11.
10 minutes after 11 there.
It's 10 minutes after 11 in Germany, and he doesn't like drink alone. Actually, he misses the live stream, so we said, you know what? I said, you know what? We'll just come on for one drink with my brother-in-law, and everybody else who comes on, grab some water, grab some. Hello, Shop Mom. Hello, Faye. Faye is in the room. Shop Mom's in the room. Actually, Shop Mom is right next door in the room. We're waiting for my brother-in-law. So, but while
He may have already gone to sleep.
oh, he may have gone to sleep. So we're gonna have one drink for my brother-in-law if he makes it or doesn't make it. How's everybody doing? Am I crooked? We don't have the.
There's no Charles.
There's no Charles here to tell me if my camera's crooked, so somebody needs to take Charles's place. Kind of weird without Faye, but we have Shop Mom, we have me, and we have a Miller Lite. I'm not encouraging anybody to drink. Grab a water, stay hydrated. Hello from Utah. I don't know what time it is in Utah, but hello from Texas. So cool. We got a few people. This is just nothing more than if you have a question or something. How's the weather? What are y'all having for Thanksgiving? That's right. We're not having a live stream, so we won't see y'all till after Thanksgiving. So happy Thanksgiving, everybody. There. I'm going to. The camera is good for your phone.
Superman is here. So is Brian. Hi, Brian.
Y'all heard Shop Mom, or I got to turn Shop Mom's mic up higher, but
No, they can hear me.
they can hear you. Hello, everyone. Superman, this is for you. And
Supra.
Supra, I know, and I've been actually, for whatever reason.
There's Terry.
There's Terry. Terry, you're late, but you're okay because I'm late. I should have started this an hour ago, and this is for you, and I haven't had a drink yet. So, cheers. I don't know what Terry, but at the same time, hit the screen. Don't hit the screen, but you know what I'm talking about. And I've been looking at Supras lately. I don't know why, but they're looking really good. Have you seen the Toyota Supra, the funny car? They're looking really good, aren't they? So, Terry, what's up? RC, I know you're sitting right next to Terry, so hello, RC is my sister-in-law. I don't want to say our biggest fans was from Germany. We have Utah. I don't know where else it's from, but it's actually quite a bit of people. For me, it's quite a bit of people, so I don't y'all want to just come on to see me, but cheers once again.
Actually, everybody's here to look at the empty chair next to you.
Oh, yes, but it is a pretty chair, though.
And
You know.
Terry says, yes, RC's there.
I kind of needed a break after this week. It's been a long week, and I should have started earlier, Terry. I know it's late there, and I actually kind of cool. You were in on our live stream last Friday at the San Antonio Auto and Truck Show, and it was so busy I didn't even see until I saw TR when we were shutting down. So I don't know if you even heard me say hi, but I felt really bad about that. So anyway, this is just me and you, Terry. So everybody else can know. Everybody else have anything to say? A lot of people are saying good stuff. Garland, Texas. This is cool. It's kind of weird, you know, but
Well, yeah, because you're expected to hold down the fort by yourself.
I know, and I have to think of something to talk about. What do you want to talk about? Well, I have my one beer. I told Terry and I told Shop Mom that I will have one beer and then we'll end it kind of quick. It's just going to be one one beer here. All right, I don't want to look at the screen. I'd rather look at y'all, but I'm looking at the screen way over there and I can't see anything. I have nothing to talk
That
about.
is funny that you can't see anything.
Right, I don't have my glasses on, so.
Hey, my first wife is from Australia.
My
You can talk about your newfound love of Supra, SpaceX.
Oh, yes. Faye, I can't talk about movie love. Yeah, I've been looking at them lately, and I've been looking at them in a different light. It's kind of weird. It's been like I'll scroll back, and it's like, oh, that looks pretty cool. Actually, when Faye got her new Supra, she brought it right over here, and we had it outside, and I took some pictures of it by the sign outside. And there's a whole bunch to that car that you don't really see in a picture. Every angle is just, that thing is just an amazing piece. The body work is amazing. The interior, their stereo system. Anyway, but I have found myself kind of looking more at them to the point of, have you seen what they cost? So I have looked, it's like, a Supra would be cool. Hey, David. And hi, everybody. I kind of made 14, but that's a lot for me. It's a lot for just me in here, but I have been. Let's talk about Supra. Do you want to talk about Supra?
Faye wants you to talk about her car. I just want y'all to know that Faye has been in the shop this afternoon with Danny, and I think Faye probably has had a whole earful of Danny, and yet she's still here with us. So everybody give a round of applause to Faye.
She's actually working, and you're like, well, why is she working? And then I've stopped working. We close at 3 on Fridays, and I had already we had made a little thing about, I'll come on with one person. If Terry's there, I'm there, and we're drinking, I'll just talk to Terry, and that'll be okay. And that kind of felt like more ease. There's no pressure. So Faye's working. Maybe you can convince her to come out of the back, but she's working on her Supra.
Let her work.
Let her work, Shop Mom says, and we will. This isn't. So let's talk Supras. Let's talk. I have been looking at them. It's kind of cool. All the Toyota products. I've been for a while. Shop Mom's been wanting a hybrid, so we've been looking at different hybrids, and I've been kind of suggesting the Toyota line. We're Acura Honda people. But did I say too much? Why did he say too much?
Don't worry about that. You critique yourself too much.
I critique myself too much, Shop Mom. Well, geez.
I'm critiquing you, critiquing yourself.
There you go.
There you go.
But I can check this out. Terry, when he came to visit, brought these from Germany. So I don't know if y'all can see those or not. Now, it doesn't really get much of use here because that's when you're drinking some real beer, and it takes you a while to drink, so you want to cover it up. And mine empties pretty quick, so it's kind of, I do a finger puppet kind of thing with it. But it's a Viking. Cool. Thank you, Terry. Also, because it's Terry's day, these fine glasses that Terry had made for us and engraved with our name. Shop Mom has one, Faye has one, I have one. It says Peace and Assembly Grease. We should find out where Terry got these and maybe have them available to buy. It's a real glass, and thank you, Terry, for the mug. It was frosted when I started. There's a lot of people in here.
And what does it say? You didn't tell everybody what the...
It says, Danny, it says Peace and... the top says Vintage. Danny, Peace and Assembly Grease, Friday night happy hour, 2020. So Friday night happy hour, everybody, like I said, grab you a bottle of water. You don't have to, I'm not encouraging people to drink. We started this during the pandemic kind of thing, and we just kept it going. So how is everybody?
Everybody's quiet because they can't answer you.
Because they can't answer, but I can read. Awesome. Superman says he's awesome. My first hybrid was a small block Chevy and a Ford truck. That's the early days of hybrids. Yes, I just saw something today, and it was a picture of Henry Ford, and he said that he didn't make the Ford to put a Chevy in it, but something in those regards. So there you go, small block Chevy and a Ford truck, your first hybrid. All right, I need Christmas present ideas.
Oh, Terry's asked this question before, and maybe folks in the room have an idea. He wants to know why the tools in his toolbox smell. Seriously.
Okay.
What are they made of?
Yeah, I have had tools in my toolbox at home, especially since we started the shop. It's been a while, and I have a separate shop at home, and I have had tools rust up in my toolbox. We live in the hill country, so there's a lot of caliche, and half my shop is in concrete and half my shop is in caliche. So anyway, there's a lot of moisture in, and I had to have tools rust. I have had tools. I even put those bags to keep the moisture out. That was the worst thing I could have done. All my micrometers rusted. But smell, and it's a serious question. I'm trying to think of.
He says they're all Craftsman tools.
And I'm not gonna say a joke about Craftsman tools because that's how I started my first tools I bought when I started doing anything was a full set of Craftsman tools. So I love Craftsman tools. So it's not the Craftsman tools. Do they? Excuse me. Do they have rubber handles? Maybe, but because they're metal, they shouldn't smell.
He says he doesn't oil them. They aren't rusty. Could it be my toolbox? My cheap one is plastic.
Plastics do deteriorate over time. If it's in a plastic one, I would bet it has to do something with that because it wouldn't be the tools unless they're some of the tools I have. I have a 3/8 ratchet. That's a rubber handle one. It has a rubber thing on it. The impacts have rubber pieces on them. Those swell up, and But tools shouldn't smell. But I would bet it's a toolbox unless you have liners in them. That's another thing. My Snap-on box does have liners in all the drawers, and occasionally I got to throw those away because they just get covered in stuff. Good question that I couldn't really answer, but it's kind of, has to be the toolbox.
I like Lon's answer. The rubber on the handles decomposes. Either that or someone had a Walmart shoe in the box.
Yep, and they do. Even they just start swelling up, especially with oils. It was ventilation related.
Hi, Pat. Hi, everybody. Nice of you all to join us for Danny's little impromptu Pachanga Friday.
It's Pachanga Friday. I'm having a Miller Lite. I don't know what y'all are having, even water or whatever. I know Terry's having something awesome because even his beer, you can hold the spoon in it. He drinks manly beer. I drink child beer. It's more like water, but hey, it's okay. It's okay what you drink.
Okay, Terry says that's his question for the session. Does anybody else have a question?
There you go, Terry. Help me out here.
More than that, what's your favorite dish for Thanksgiving?
Awesome question. Terry's drinking scotch. I told you he's a manly's man. He's a man's man. It's real beers, real scotch, real drinks. I bet he smokes a real cigar. I don't think I've smoked a cigar with Terry. But when he comes back, we're gonna have to do some cigars.
Crock pot cooking. How do you crock pot cook Thanksgiving?
There we go. Now that's a good question, Chop Mom. What are y'all doing? What is the one thing that Thanksgiving you cannot do without? If you can remove everything, in our family, everybody gets to pick the one thing. Of course, the turkey's gonna be there. Mine, it's either stuffing or mashed potatoes. Sorry, or a little bit of both. But everybody has. Our daughter has to have the pumpkin pie. Everybody has something different, and so you can't remove that one thing. What's the one thing that would not be Thanksgiving without it on the table?
Wild rice.
Wild rice. All the kids go. You can take the wild rice off. That's Shop Mom's thing that she cannot have, not be on the list is wild rice. So yams. So yours is yams, and I want to say with marshmallows, without marshmallows. So we got yams, we got wild rice. Some people, I guess, don't necessarily not have to have some for Thanksgiving.
Oh, Pat Cassidy wants to know, how did you learn to read spark plugs?
Oh, just to get me what reading spark plug was also about was Smokey Unix Power Secrets. So we can go but I wanted to learn, the basics is when you're just starting to learn fuel, and I learned that from my uncle. A tan plug is good, a black plug is too rich, a white plug there's not enough fuel in it, and that was generally what you were doing. And then we were looking for oil. It wasn't until I started getting into more of Power Secrets and Smokey's everything. He could tell everything by a spark plug. So by a spark plug, he knew that this engine wasn't gonna finish the race. He knew it just we're done. We only had this many laps. How you could tell how many laps you had left by reading a plug? There's a lot more to reading a plug. It's almost like reading like I tell everybody, if you think you know anything about camshafts, the more you know that the less you know about camshafts. So the same thing with spark plugs. You really need to. I could have brought my little mattifying glass, and you want to look at the ceramic. The ceramic is going to tell you a lot of stuff. So the speckles that are on the ceramic. And the reason you're using a magnifying glass because that's when you're looking at the speckles that are on it. So what Smokey would find that oil. So he had actually was knowing when a motor was starting to pump oil because of the speckles that were on the plug. Also, I got a feeling this is what he knew when the motor wasn't going to last long. You can start seeing when you start to lose a piston. When you're starting to lose a piston or a valve, especially the exhaust valve, all of that is going to get stuck to the ceramic. So that's what you're doing. You're looking at the ceramic and you're looking way down deep in the ceramic. So early on, we were just looking for, my uncle would always say, a tan plug. And if you all know what that means or not, but it's tan, like a light tan color, that's when you have the right air fuel ratio on the plug. So if it's white, it looks like it's never even been run. It's way too lean. There's not even enough fuel in the cylinder to discolor the ceramic. You want it discolored a light tan color. We start seeing some black on it. It's a little too rich. So we were just reading plugs for the simple. Smokey went way past that. Nowadays with fuel injection cars, that tan color, you kind of almost don't see it anymore because things are so clean. But in a race car, that's what we were looking for. Also, the little hook, the little wire that comes up from the, that's where you read your heat range from a plug. So people are looking at a plug and they go, the plug's too hot, the plug's too cold. Let's put a hotter plug in it. Let's put a colder plug in it. That metal that goes across from the electrode, you look at that right there, and what you want is the discoloration to come all the way to where it was spot welded. There's a little spot weld there right on the base of it. And you hear that? You want the heat come all the way down on the electrode, all the way to right at that edge there. So if you see the discoloration up around here somewhere, the plug's a little too cold. You want to put a hotter range plug. You want to get the heat range to right about here. You don't want the heat range to go past that and start getting around the outside of the base. So that electrode is what you're reading to find out the heat range of the plug. Do I need a colder plug or a hotter plug? Of course, if you burn off the electrode, the little bar across the top, the plug's too hot. So that's when you start reading the plugs to get your heat range on the plug. If you're putting a lot of fuel in the cylinder, we might want to increase the heat range of the plug and get it a little hotter so we don't foul out a plug. We don't want to get the plug too hot and put a hole in the piston. But anyway, good question on spark plug reading. I'm easier when I'm just answering technical engine. Anybody have any engine questions? That would be a good thing. I don't think anything internal combustion engine, valve, piston. I don't want to say I've seen it all, but I probably got an idea of, and I have seen a lot of stuff. So a lot of things. A customer pulled a set of heads off, Edelbrock heads that he bought. I don't know if I should remove the Edelbrock. Whatever. He came in with the cylinder head, and what was the issue? When we accept the head in, we don't just take it and write your name down and we're going to do a valve job on it. No. I want to know why you brought the cylinder head in. There's a reason you brought it in. You didn't just pull the head off because, hey, I looked at, it's 5 o'clock. Maybe the head needs to come off. No. You didn't go look at your bank account and go, you know what? There's a lot of extra zeros in there. I think Hill Country could use some of those zeros. You didn't do that. You pulled it off. There was a reason. I want to know what that reason was, because when I look at the head, I could go, good choice. It was that reason. Or you pulled the head off, but that wasn't that wasn't the reason. So insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different outcome. So me giving you the head back and you put it back on and you're going to come back and go, you didn't fix it. Why? Because it still has the same problem. Because it wasn't the cylinder head. In this particular one, he wanted, the valve stem seals must be bad. Sometimes the older people go and reflect back to what they grew up. Yes, back in the day when we had smoking, the valve guides were bad or the valve stem seals were bad. That was an umbrella seal. That's back in the day when, walked up barefoot up a snow hill, backfoot, grandma, grandpa, and all that stuff. Nowadays, everything has a positive seal. It has a metal clad piece that actually grabs the valve guide. Then the part on the top it's not even the rubber's better. It's not neoprene. It's whatever the rubber is. Don't get me going on what kind of rubber it is. But they don't go bad. They don't go bad. They don't go bad. Unless someone damaged it putting it on, Everything is assembled now by computers. That doesn't happen. Why could I say that fast? That's not your problem. He goes, what do you mean it's not the problem? I have smoking. I have all, my plugs, my plugs. I'm going through plugs. I'm oil fouling the plugs. So it has to be the valve stem seals. I said, I wish you would have called before you came in, because I would have told you don't pull them off. It ain't the valve stem seals. I haven't seen you from Adam. It's the first time I've seen your head. Could it be? Yes. I'm not going to say no, because I will say never. Maybe the machine's messed up and you got one seal that messed up. He says, no, I'm fouling all the plugs and it's the seals. No. Anyway, we pulled the heads apart. I'm going to do a YouTube video. In fact, I already got it on the hard drive. So when you see the YouTube video on my thing on cylinder heads, and I don't know what I'm going to call it yet, diagnostics on aluminum heads, whatever they are, I don't know what to call it yet. But I'm making a video on this because to prove the point. Yes, the valves were packed with oil. I never seen so much oil on a valve. And sure enough, all the valve stem seals were perfect. The customer even said, because I suggested we use the same valve stem seals, let me fix the problem. And the customer said, no, just go and put a new set on. I pulled the heads off anyway. So fine, we'll spend $30, $40 on a set of new seals, but you don't need them. The heads are only 2 or 3 months old. The problem was that everybody puts on a set of aluminum heads on their car. Not everybody, because you're thinking, I've never done it, so I can't be everybody. I use those things a lot. Everybody, all the time. A lot of people put on stuff. What's the first thing you do is a rite of passage. As a kid, it's a different world now, but as a kid, when we bought our car, what's the first thing we did? We yanked the valve covers off and we put Mickey Thompson valve covers on it. We took all that old ugly air cleaner and we put a chrome air cleaner on it. Almost everybody, as a rite of passage, the first thing you do when you get a hot rod is you start doing some accessories. The easiest accessories to do is the cold air, and you start changing the valve covers. You know what I'm talking about by a valve cover? If you don't, let me know. I'll talk about a valve cover. So he put on his hot rod, Edelbrock aluminum heads. He put on aluminum valve covers, an aluminum intake, a Holley carburetor, and an air cleaner. I said, I know your problem. He goes, no, how do you know my problem already? You tell me my problem. This is the first 5 minutes of talking to him on the counter. I said, so the first 5 minutes I'm telling you is not your cylinder head, then I know your problem. How? It's the no. I go, let me guess. You didn't put a PCV valve on it. What is that? Crankcase positive ventilation is what I'm talking about. And the first thing everybody does is it gets rid of all the vacuum lines because they look ugly. Yeah, they do. And they put in 2 breathers on the valve covers, or 1 cap and 1 breather, or that's the first thing everybody does. I see this a lot. No, don't do it. Stop doing it. So if anybody's watching this and you're having oil consumption problems, this particular engine, he put beautiful valve covers with beautiful breathers. So we have no vacuum. We're not pulling a vacuum from the crankcase. So what was happening is, one of the things that was happening was we're not pulling vacuum from the crankcase, so the crankcase is building up pressure. I think he had a cap on one side. He had one with a cap that he puts oil in, and he didn't, that looks, the valve covers didn't have any holes in them. I drilled, put a cap on one to put oil. I said, okay, so where's all that pressure going? You're pushing it, and you're forcing it past the rings. Not only that, low tension rings, all late model cars have low tension rings. They need vacuum pulled on the crankcase for the rings to seal. So that was it. A simple $4 PCV valve was it. That was it. I found other problems with these heads. The heads had 208 valves, and the heads were machined for 202s. Another problem, you're going to put a bigger valve in, but the seat is still for 202. That was another problem he had. But the crankcase ventilation, I can just do a whole series on crankcase ventilation because everybody overlooks crankcase ventilation. That's the one common thing that I see, I don't want to say daily, but at least once a week. Most people's problems on oil consumption, the wrong PCV valve. Okay, now I added a PCV valve, and I come back to Danny and I go, I did what you said, I put a PCV valve in it, and now it's worse. Okay, what PCV valve did you put in it? Well, I put in the PCV valve that my 70 Camaro or Mustang, whatever, said to put in it. I said, okay, cool. So far, we're doing good. Did you change your camshaft? Yeah, I put a bigger cam in it. So you put a bigger cam that has more overlap, and the engine now has less vacuum. But you put the same PCV valve that was on the engine that is made for a different camshaft with different vacuum. The way that a PCV valve works, there's a spring and a check valve in it. And if it was just an open port, I've seen this happen too. People put a hose and a fitting to the valve cover and they suck oil right into their intake manifold. So the PCV valve, let's say your engine has 10 inches of vacuum. The PCV valve is going to be at 11 inches of vacuum. So it takes 11 inches of vacuum for it to open. Well, it ain't never going to open. So there's a fine line to what the engine's vacuum is and the PCV valve. What it does, it pulls vacuum by your engine, opens the valve. Once the valve opens, air comes out of the engine. Once the air comes out of the engine, the spring pressure is higher now than the vacuum pressure. It closes the PCV valve. Once the PCV valve is closed, the vacuum is higher than the spring pressure. The vacuum opens it back up again. As soon as it opens, the spring pressure overcomes the vacuum. It closes it. So all the time, the way you know if you got the right PCV valve is touch your PCV. Just touch it, people. Don't be afraid to touch it. Touch your PCV valve, and if it's going click, 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 you got the right one. If it's open all the time, you're going to have a vacuum leak, and you're going to suck oil into your intake manifold, which is going to go into your cylinders, and you're going to foul plugs, and you could think you got ring problems. If you have one that you don't have enough vacuum to open it, it looks pretty, but it's not doing anything. It's just like having a plug. So once you start changing a camshaft, you must start now playing with the PCV valve that has the right spring pressure to match your vacuum on your engine. I hope that helped on the PCV valve. I don't even know where that started, but I got to have a drink now after that one.
Oh,
all right.
Funny, you don't know how that started.
Yeah, how did that start? What were we talking about? Just say Edelbrock, not a sponsor. There you go. And I'm not knocking. Edelbrock is American foundry, some of the best aluminum cylinder heads. Here's another thing that I'd rather be honest than say something because somebody may sponsor me one day. Well, you know what? We've always said here and on the live stream with Faye, we're not gonna sell you something. We're not gonna talk about something that we're not personally using. If we don't like it, we're not even gonna talk about it because I don't care if you tell us I'll pay you $1,000, I'll pay you $2,000 to talk about it. We're not gonna sell ourselves out. So that's never gonna happen. So this is the example that I use of should I buy an Edelbrock head. Okay. I don't go next door to the Mexican restaurant and Sandra's Mexican Cantina, right next door. You want some of the best margaritas? Well, come on, I'm just saying. All right. So I don't go next door and I don't say, I don't want your $10 lunch plate. I don't want that. Which happens to be enchiladas, rice, and beans. That's your lunch special. I don't want that. Bring me 2 enchiladas. Bring me a bowl of rice. Bring me some beans. I don't want the guac or I don't want the sour cream. So no, I'm going to order what I want. Well, my lunch plate would cost $30 because I bought everything individually and I got exactly what I wanted. No, I'm going to order the lunch plate and I'm going to take the sour cream off because I don't like sour cream. Get it off the plate. That's what an Edelbrock cylinder head is. It's the lunch special. Does that sound bad? This is what I mean. If you were to buy an aluminum cylinder head, bare, and then put in valves, guides, springs, seats, retainers, keepers, guide plates, screw-in studs, you'd have a $40 lunch special. Take the Edelbrock head out of the box. Take it apart and blueprint it. Take it apart and make it custom to your engine. So let's take that Edelbrock cylinder head that we can buy now at a reduced price because it's already assembled, mass produced. It comes in, and now guess what? Whatever camshaft I put in an engine, I'm gonna check with the manufacturer, what do they want for spring pressure open and closed? Okay, I don't like the spring pressure that those heads come with. There's a generic spring pressure that's gonna work for everybody. What does that mean? If you rev your engine a little higher up than the next guy, you need more spring pressure. If I'm going to make a cylinder head that I can sell to everybody, I'm going to put 150 pounds of spring pressure on it so that the guy who puts it on a car and takes it up to $7,000 doesn't have valve float. Unfortunately, the guy that only takes it up to 4,500, which is most people, have way too much spring pressure and you're going to flatten out your camshaft. We have problems right now, but don't get me going about oil and zinc and phosphorus. There's not enough zinc and phosphorus in oil, and you're going to flatten out a camshaft. How? We have not lost a camshaft in 8 years. That's not luck. What I find out is if Comp, Iski, Bullet, one of our favorites, says, I want 115 pounds on the cam for that application, I'm going to take those springs, the 150 pounds that they come on that head, chunk them, and I'm going to put a set of springs that match the cam and the use that we're using it for. So start off with the lunch special and tweak it and make it a custom head for your vehicle. So you need more valve height, change and put a longer valve. It's much cheaper than starting from scratch and ordering a bare head and going all the way. So I know it sounds crazy if I say, and I've said it in other things, in some of my videos I kind of have edited because I don't want to say, an Edelbrock cylinder head is the lunch special, but there's nothing wrong with the lunch special. And most of the people out there can pretty much agree, there's nothing wrong with the lunch special. We're from Texas and we have Mexican food. I'm sure you're from wherever and you have whatever kind of food you want, but
y'all miss the Mexican food, admit it.
You're missing the Mexican food, like Shop Mom says. So, nothing wrong with the lunch special. There's nothing wrong with being frugal. There's nothing wrong with being frugal and just being. If you just know what you're dealing with, you can deal with it. Does that make sense? I'm gonna drink to that as well. All right, interesting. Superman says. All right, I can't believe we got 20 people that are still here, and I'm by myself.
I actually have 28
And I
people,
got
but
the 20, and well,
it's just because they were used to Fridays and wishing for Faye.
I know, and but I just did this for
Terry.
TRNRC. This is just for y'all. Actually, it's nice to not have something planned. It was we didn't have anything planned, and it's cool because it's just like if Terry was here. I kind of feel bad because when Terry came from Germany, we should have done this. He was here. He sat right here. I got a picture of it. I got to put it on there, and I should have just turned the camera on, and we could have just did a drink with Terry. And I shouldn't make it a bad thing of, drinking with Terry. That's what we're going to call it. I don't know. So, anyway, lunch specials are good. So you have leftovers later for the big plus. Yes. All right.
Okay, probably need to wrap it up. It's been fun.
It's been fun.
You actually haven't finished your beer yet. I guess you can finish your beer.
I'm going to finish my beer, but not talk so much unless somebody else has something to say. But we're going to wrap it up pretty quick.
I actually think that we should go back and revisit the Thanksgiving question. Brian says he makes the green bean casserole. He first made it when he was 8 years old, and he's made it every year since, which is super awesome. I love the people's contributions.
How's it going?
Oh my God, it's the kid.
I can't find the right wrench. So.
It was like the kid from Home Alone.
Is it 5 o'clock somewhere? It's close enough. It's close enough to being 5 o'clock somewhere. I'm not judging. I'm not judging.
We're not judging. Special guest appearance from the back, working.
How's it going?
Yes.
Yeah, cannot find the right wrench, so I'll bring it next time.
Okay, but remember, you worked hard all week. This has been a good day. You got a lot accomplished, so yay, Faye.
I did get a lot
she
accomplished.
did. Oh, that video isn't out yet. Can I talk about it? About your video?
No. Oh no. I don't even tell my close friends. They bother me on Instagram.
Okay.
They bother me in text message.
You're gonna
They're like, let me know what happened. I'm like, no.
Okay.
We will not watch the video.
We won't watch the video. Okay. Well.
I need to process because sometimes I have a gut reaction. It's either good or bad. Like, oh my God, this is amazing, or like, oh my God, this is gonna suck, and I need to process it and think about it. It takes me a while to digest my feelings sometimes.
Okay. Well, she's building 2 Supra engines.
Yeah, I'm working on 2.
and they're both. One is, I don't want to say use the word exotic, but it's over the top. It has a lot of good quality stuff in it. Really, really,
That's
really
what I was working on today.
Yeah, that's not. But then she kind of slowed down that one a little bit just because of things. And
I ran out of money. Let's be real.
There you go. So
I moved to California for the for Motor Mythbusters.
Which we
so
can
I ran
talk
out of
about
time.
again. Yep.
And so I was gone for a while. What was it? 6 months? And and I took that job because I needed funding for the super build. So I had gotten my goals for that engine were so crazy, and I got so much crap on the internet. Like why did you cut off the pulley? Why did you cut down the pulley to remove the AC rib or whatever? And it's like, why don't you just buy this? I'm just like, because that's $400. I don't know what world you all live in, but I cannot go and just spend $400 on a pulley like it's nothing. And so people are like all this criticism. I'm like, well, I mean, they're right. Like, I need to.
Well, as opposed to how cool. The AC pulley that's in the front of the stacked on there.
It looks awesome.
This is like a race car. This is a real killer car, so they're gonna have AC on it.
Yeah.
And so now
it's never had AC. I bought it that way, people.
So she put it on a lathe and machined off the front of the pulley and got rid of the pulley that's not being used.
Yeah.
So you're taking up weight off the car. It's something that's not being used. That was as opposed to. How cool! I'm gonna do that. As opposed to more people just going like, "I've never seen that done. That is so cool. That is awesome." No, it's more
instead it's like, why didn't you just buy a super damper? I'm like,
yeah.
I couldn't at the time. So yeah, it's been a big process of saving up money for the parts that I need for that, and also the tools. You know, like there's some tooling, and I wanted to be able to custom make the forward facing intake manifold, and once I do that, then of course like I've got to get a totally new intercooler setup. And the cool thing about the 88 is that all the awesome stuff that I had upgraded on the 89, I'll just be able to put on the 88.
Oh yeah,
like,
that's right.
Like the turbo, for example.
Yeah. So anyway, she's cool. So she's been working
on the 89.
Working.
It has a super damper on it now, people. So calm down.
Yes. So now.
Oh my goodness. Anyone that tells me what to do and how to spend my money, I'm like, you need to. I need to make a GoFundMe for people just like you. You want to?
Well, it's funny because everybody thinks that I see you on TV, so you must live in a mansion. You must have 4 or 5, cars. I think I
do have 5 cars, but I will say I do not live in a mansion, and I still flush my toilet with a bucket because I'm too cheap to replace my toilet. So I flush it with a bucket. I'm no better than any of y'all. There was that one day that I did a crazy job. It actually was the first year of All Girls Garage that I did. And I remember people thinking suddenly I'm on TV, so I'm making bank. And I remember calculating out the labor hours with my old shop rate of $20 a flat rate hour. And I remember calculating out the hours that the billable hours that Bogey and I spent on that job. And I was like, if I was at the dealership making $20 a flat rate hour, I'd get paid more than I am here. So the reason I do All Girls Garage is, it's not necessarily the smartest financial decision, although it has helped in terms of sponsorships and getting out there and being able to find sponsorships for our live streams and the YouTube videos. That's really where you make the money on YouTube. It's not actually, in the less than 1 cent per watch,
And even though people think, oh, golly, and there was a couple of interesting points just today, me and Shama we're coming back from Blanco, and I was like, people don't realize it's I don't know how to say it. I don't want to embarrass, but people don't realize. I say it a lot, and I don't say because it's not a thing that says whenever anybody asks me, face the real deal. Face the real deal. Oh. On your time off, I go home and I have a shop at home, and I don't even want to go in the garage because it's hot and I worked all day, and lately I've been working on videos anyway, phase relaxation. What gets her gets her antsy or not? It's when she can't work on her cars.
Oh,
she's been working. She pulled an engine
People
out
tell
of a
me
Supra
to relax.
on a dirt floor.
Oh my God!
When we were talking about the smoke unit, we just did on Wednesday. If you missed us for Wednesday for book club, we were talking about how he used to work on dirt floor pulling out his cars, and that's kind of what brought it up. It's like she's a real deal. When on her time off, she's pulling out a Supra engine out of a Supra on a dirt floor to take it apart, to get it enough apart where she can bring it up here and work on it, and then I need a part. She's at home tearing out another Supra motor. We were talking about.
I'm hoping to pick another one up today, but the guy isn't texting me
Yeah,
back.
so I don't want to get into
maybe it was a cheap trick just to get my phone number, but I still have not gotten a text message back from this guy. I'm hoping.
So she's gonna look for another Supra motor to take apart for parts. So it's like, well, you're on TV or you're there, whatever else. Terry knows us, so we're all just normal people. We're all just normal people that
I don't know what's normal about any of it.
I don't know.
Okay, so we're that kind of normal.
It's so true. It's like people are just like, wow, Faye, you need to calm down. You need to relax. You need to do something let's go shopping or let's go watch a movie. I'm like, there's literally nothing I would hate more than any of those things. I relax by being at home alone, away from people, and just
She's
working
really
on
an
my stuff.
introvert. And you kind of like,
Such an introvert.
well, kind of in a sense.
People
you just,
come here and they want to talk to me, and I'm just like, get away.
so we have the other room in the back, but it's
I
like,
hide in the closet.
yeah,
I
it's
do.
just,
I work in the
it's just,
closet.
anyway, that had nothing to do, but just, we're just, you know, it is what it is. If she can't work on her cars or her engines, that's what gets her,
That's a high stress.
Yes,
High stress.
that's high stress.
It's high stress.
Yeah, so, anyway.
But there's one that still flushes the bucket. I hear people saying, yes, you're right. There's a lot of things that I could do in the free time I don't have. Yes, I absolutely 100% could take apart the toilet and fix it if I wanted to. I just don't want to. It's just not. I mean, eventually I'll want to. Eventually I'll be like, you know what? I'm gonna do this. But right now, I just flush with the bucket, people. It's okay.
So, see,
I actually have a leaky faucet that drips into the bucket, so it's like I'm recycling too. So
oh, so you're grabbing it from there and then you're putting it in
yeah, it works out really good.
See?
But I will say a couple things to that point. So the reason why I do All Girls Garage is not just for like, you know, the exposure for sponsorships or whatever. It's also like, I remember telling you the story of when I first wanted to be a mechanic, and you know, tell the story of the live stream. It's like, you know, I Googled female mechanic and I found Boki. And it's like, if she had not made that step as someone who is very much the real deal and had put herself out there, which is not easy, by the way, like that, man, the amount of criticism and hate mail. I think I got a typewritten hate letter the other day. Like
That
someone,
takes a lot of energy.
That takes a lot of energy.
like no, we're not even like typed on a computer and printed. No, like someone type wrote out a very like a letter just letting me know how ugly I was. I was like, oh.
That
Wow.
takes a lot of dedication.
They're really passionate. They took a lot of energy, and then to find it's like people that want to send me fan mail, like legitimate, like happy things, can't even find my address. Even though it's listed on
We try to.
So the hateful are more.
I was like, wow, this person really is passionate about my looks.
And they're more resourceful.
And
Yeah, I was like, wow, someone took effort. But yeah, you know, you put yourself out there. I mean, you know, like,
Yeah.
it's not easy.
when I first started, this has just been real
very
kind of
strange.
short.
Yeah.
I remember coming back and I wasn't physically crying, but inside I was. But anyway, and I was like, you know, I guess I'm a sensitive guy, or I don't care who you are. Though you can say whatever, but you get something like negative, and it just, you know, it's like a little seed. They just keep, you know, and it's like, effing, I'm not gonna ever do it again.
Yeah.
Even though you may have 10, 15 people that are really like encouraged, like, man, thank you doing that. You showed me how to pull something apart. Golly, I was having trouble. I did brakes on Elaine's Acura, and she was, you need to go ahead and just film it. I go, no one's gonna watch me do brakes. And then I had this guy go, man, this was like, not God said what he said, but it was like the perfect time. I was doing my brakes on my Acura and I couldn't, you know, find it, and I found your thing. When I said, you know, to do the brake job on the Acura, I want to type it in now, and I typed it in, and no one had done one. So I did it, and we really. But the one guy, you know, just writing back and saying, this was like the perfect timing. I had to do that, and I couldn't find anything else, and I came up your video, and I just stopped it and watched it all the way through. And he tells me, can you do one on the rear brakes? And I actually type back, when I get to do rear brakes, I will do one. So you'll do one, it's like that's all. For one guy that just kind of said, you know, you're awesome, thanks for doing that. But God, you can have all that, and one guy that says something about, you know, you say too much. Remember, I dropped a video.
Oh my God, he spent hours trying to get rid of all the that he said.
And then I pulled a smoke unit video of me tearing apart the hot vapor engine live in front of everybody. Everybody has all these questions, what's in the motor, what's in there. I did it live, and I let people ask, well, what's underneath the valve cover? Well, I pulled the valve cover off. And then we were just talking, and then somebody else said, well, how about the cranking? And I ended up, by the time an hour and a half was up, we pulled it down to a short block.
Yeah.
And then I did it live, and I just put it on YouTube.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, because Wade wants to know. Wade has a question, and let me read it verbatim. So should we not ask about how the hot vapor car restore is going?
Well, and Wade had another question about the compressed air, which that tells me that Wade really does listen and
Yes,
stuff.
yes.
I kind of is cool. The compressor is doing good. It's gone faster than it's ever gone. It only has 14 pounds of air so far, but it's hard to get it down to the ground. It's in the 430s now, in the 8th, but it's still they're really working on the suspension. The car weighs 2980. It's a '68 Camaro. It's a metal car. And so yes, it's doing very well. No issues. They just went for Friday when we were live streaming. Remember
Yeah.
they went and they tried to put a little more air to it, put a little more power. We're at 1900 horsepower. The block can only handle
1900.
2000 horsepower, so the block can handle. And I built this as just a baseline so that we can sort all this out. And it's a baseline, and we knew that Dart said that's the most you can put in that block. We got to go to an aluminum billet block to do more horsepower than that. So we know the block can only handle 2,000 horsepower. We're at 1,900 horsepower now, and
Meanwhile, I'm like hoping for 450 horsepower over here. I'm like,
so that's doing good.
2,000 horsepower. Oh my god.
The smoky car is now on the lift. I've done brakes. I've shot a lot of video. Haven't edited yet.
The editing takes a lot of time.
It takes a lot of time.
Yeah.
But what's left, and it's time to put the engine in the car.
Ooh.
The fuel system is sitting on the floor, all brand new gas tank, brand new everything. All the brakes are done. So now it's time to put the engine in the car and drive it. So
Wait, are you that close?
we're that close. So maybe
you help
yeah,
dropping the engine in?
yeah. So maybe we're that close. We'll do it during the
Yeah,
holidays maybe.
That would be a fun
fun
live stream.
happy hour.
That'd be a fun happy hour live stream.
Yeah.
Oh, firing it up, even
Yeah.
firing it up.
Oh no, and that you know what? We need to do that with yours first, because no matter how many times you do it, like whatever it is, whether it's a timing belt on an interference motor, whether it's head gaskets, like that first startup is always stressful. It will always be stressful. I will never imagine a time when it's not stressful. Even if it's a car I don't care about.
We
the
build
first
engines
startup-
and we put them on the stand to run them.
I know.
And,
I gotta run my engine on
and-
the stand. I can't.
and a lot of customers will come in, can I go in for your first fire up? And I'm not going to tell them no. It is nervous. Nobody wants to fire up a motor in front of the customer for the first time. You want to tweak everything and then done. I'll do it just because, you know what, it's real and whatever. Yeah, so
I would fire it up first.
nobody would turn the
Then
camera
call
on.
him. Then be like, all right, you ready for first fire up?
Yeah. No, if the customer wants to be, we've had some customers pay a lot of money and they're like, fire it up, I don't need to be there. And it's like, you want me to shoot a video and send it to you? I mean, I can, but anyway, yeah, that'd be
We've had
fun.
customers pay a lot of money for an engine for a car they don't even intend to drive. They just want to have a bunch of cars. We have one customer who, and I'm not even going to say what RV place he owns. There's several locations in Texas, and he's just got a whole assortment of cars. He never even intends to drive them.
He likes to pick up an engine and like have another one in queue. Like he always wants to just have, he wants to just always have an engine in here that we're
That'd
building.
be nice.
Yeah. There's the different. There is different. People have different pocketbooks.
No, I get it. Like I've always got to have like a 7M ready. So actually, I mean, if I was to actually pick up the one today, which I'm hoping, like, oh god, I think
we're
this
looking for. If anybody out there has a
7M.
These are being thrown away. They're a 7M
People
to
don't
turbo
want 'em.
motors. There's Toyota has surpassed that platform, and there's great platforms, but it's still, that's a platform that was in the car,
Yep.
and that's what makes it more challenging or whatever, is to make that platform survive, to make it, and we've dealt with the issues with cooling issues,
Yep.
oiling issues. It's a brute engine, and then
it's a great engine.
Yeah.
I just feel like I have something to prove, because everyone takes those cars, they throw away the engine because they rod knock it once, so the head gasket blows, they say it's a lemon, and they throw it away and put a 2JZ. And I don't know,
easy.
yeah, well, I mean, the reason why I kept the 7M is because I could never afford a 2JZ.
It's too cool to come out.
I mean, no, everyone knows the 2JZ is like, the greatest engine on earth. However, I've never owned one. I've never messed with one really. I mean, I've done like, basic maintenance to one, like a timing belt, like big basic stuff when it came in the shop, but like I've never done any performance stuff to it. A couple times in the show, I guess, but like nothing like in the shop, like for an actual customer. But the 7M, I feel like got a really bad reputation. And I remember like before Supra Mania got shut down, which was the primary forum for the third generation Supra, it was this thing where like all the old school guys would say the only problem with the 7M is the owner. And I'm just like, I am not going to be the problem. I refuse to be the problem. So I just like researched it so much, and like learned all the little tricks with it. And it's like, everyone that has something go wrong with theirs didn't take the time to learn all the little tricks.
And
so I want to learn
you're
all the
actually
tricks.
like
Document them all.
yeah, and you're going down a path that people don't do.
Yeah.
But think of all the Supras out there that have that motor in it.
So many
just like the car
still.
that you bought from the salvage yard.
I
a
know.
great specimen that had been gone
Yes.
over to the salvage yard, and it was just really all complete.
Oh, it is
I mean, interior.
so you won't
I mean,
even
it has
believe
the emblem
it.
still on. It has.
Yes.
Yeah. So
I can't. I mean, I can't even believe that it survived so long. It is so complete. It has everything in it. Like I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh, that's what those cut wires were from. You know, on
you
this
wouldn't
one,
think that you can go to Pick and Pull and buy a project
pull apart.
car.
It was pull apart.
Pull apart.
And they don't. So they actually, a lot of people don't know. It's like the cars that end up on the yard for sale normally are not the ones that are donated. They actually are just like any other used car lot where they buy those from auction. So it's like you can go to a used car lot, or you can go to pull apart. And that's what they do at pull apart, but they don't, just like an auction, you know, actually I feel like some of the used car people are even more shady than pull apart or like a junkyard, because like they'll pay somebody to do a full detail, they'll make up a story, they'll have some like attractive person dressed up all nice selling you the car, but at pull apart they don't do anything. Like they pick up the car, they set it on the lot, they maybe like add $300 to $500 more to the price for, you know, for what they bought it for, and then shipping it. They don't clean it up. They don't want to spend the money on cleaning it up. They're trying to make a $300 profit on it, like, you know.
And this is your second one.
The second one that I bought.
Yeah. Is also the same.
Yeah, my truck is awesome. I'm going in my third year with that truck. I need to do like a 3-year update. But yeah, I mean that's something that like I always thought that all those cars that were on the for sale lot, like as actual for sale cars, were other people's junk, and a lot of times, I mean, they are, but they have to run and drive and go through auctions. So the Supra is one of the very few that did not run and drive. Like, you know, I put a battery in it, I turned it over, I heard it sounded good, little did I know.
And it actually had hidden gems, though.
Oh,
it had hidden gems. They had tried to convert it over to NA, to naturally aspirated, but it was really a turbo car.
Yes.
So a lot of stuff was removed, but a lot of stuff was still there, kind of neat.
Yeah.
And the neat thing about it is that your other Supra, remember we did the turbo's all done, but then all of a sudden you get a bigger, better turbo. Well, guess what? The other one that she got, somebody had converted it and gotten rid of the turbo.
Yep.
So she's got the old manifold, which was already coated, the turbo already built.
Yeah.
Perfect home for that.
And like my beautiful downpipe that I bought just a few years ago for the Supra, I'm going to be putting onto that one, obviously. So it's like every cool part that I have is
perfect.
So I'm really stoked about it. Yeah, I need to do a 3-year update on Grim Repo, because Grim Repo is doing great. I actually have been working
300,000 miles.
308. We're at 308 right now on the clock with for Grim Repo, and I actually, you know, for a while I was just like, I'm not going to be a mobile mechanic anymore. I'm so done with that life. You know, rented the shop. Well, now I find myself being mobile more than ever these days, especially because the Supra, the 88 Project 88, is actually parked on the street. And I live on a hill, and my shop and all my other cars are at the bottom of the hill, and the hill is steep, let me tell you. If I want to move something from the top of the driveway to the bottom of the driveway, or the top of the street to the bottom of the street, like I have to winch it down the hill. It is so steep. Like you don't even, like, from the street, you can't even see my shop. Like, it's just a drop off. People are afraid to drive down my driveway. It is so steep. So, and I've put a block on a dolly before and tried to like slowly like bring the block from the top to the bottom of the hill, and I have lost it. It has gone off the side of the cliff, or it's gone into the house. I'm just like, no. So you have to winch everything up and down. So like, it is a lot of exercise, let me tell you, every time to go all the way down the hill, grab a tool that I'm missing, and then go all the way up. So I'm like, you know what? Grim's got to be a work truck again. So I am once again
loaded it back up for your service,
converting it back into a shop work truck. So and it's actually pretty cool. I'll show you a little bit of what's going on, but I'm gonna do a whole conversion video on turning it.
I'm sure people drive by her street, by her house, and they'd go, that looks close for a minute. Nah, it couldn't be. She's working out in the dirt in front of the house.
I literally work on the street. Like, it was raining the other day. I was in the rain, in the mud. Actually, funny story, Instagram versus reality, right? So I had this awesome picture up on my Instagram of me pulling a block in the Supra. Because I was like, I'm going to record this for a video. So we were, book club, we were talking about Smokey Eunuch working in the mud. And so I was working in the mud. And I was jacking up the block. Oh, awesome. Everything looks great. I'm looking underneath. I got all my cardboard positioned. I go to pull the engine hoist back, and obviously it's like, I'm not very strong. The block is really heavy, and the engine hoist is stuck in the mud. I'm like, oh, well, no big deal. I'll do the same thing I did last time with the cylinder head. And I will just chain it up to the back of my truck and pull it out. So I'm like, okay, no big deal. Chains it to the back of my truck, went to pull it very slowly. I'm washing, everything looks good. Now, this is the mud, mind you. So I'm looking and everything looks nice and smooth. I do not notice that there is a massive hole that is covered in water. I'm thinking to myself, oh, like it's totally fine. It's totally smooth. Back it up a little bit, and what happens at one of the wheels, whoop, and the block goes, whoo, and one of the legs thankfully catches the control arm of the Supra. So I've got like the engine hoist at a slant, the block just like slings over, somehow like barely misses hitting the body of the car by like the slightest bit. Actually, the bottom of a bolt barely scraped the top of the fender, and I was like, woo! And I was alone. I was like, okay, what do I do? So I've got my jack, I've got my wood, like I'm trying to like jack the thing back up. It was a total mess. And that's when I decided that although it is the most expensive thing I've ever done and will cost more than any car I've ever purchased in my life, I was like, I need to expand the driveway. So the cement guy is coming on Thanksgiving. That's what I'm doing for Thanksgiving.
Well,
we are pouring concrete.
You're pouring concrete in the driveway.
Yeah. I saw for that one.
There's a video of her pulling it, and you're using Grim Reaper to chain around the hoist.
I did the same. I mean, it worked fine. It would have worked fine if there wasn't a massive hole that I didn't notice. I don't know how it got there. It was not a hole there the first time. So.
Damn you, rain!
I know. Yeah, it's been raining here for I don't know. It's been like really cloudy and like a little swampy here lately. So who knows why? But yeah, those at least I got it out.
There you go.
At least I got it out. But yeah.
So we'll do maybe we'll do a live stream of the installing of the engine or running it, firing it up.
That'd be
at
fun.
least test driving it.
Yeah.
Got all brand new tires on it. It's a little bitty car, but it's pretty cool. Yeah. So
I just want to see it.
Yeah,
I was excited.
and now it's getting cooler. So now my shop is metal, but it doesn't have any insulation. So it gets kind of hot out there. I got a lot of doors and windows, so if I get up there early and open it up, it's not nice and breezy. But when you leave here at the end of the day, it's been closed all day. It's an oven in there, and that's probably why I drove the car in. I had it delivered here. It has 9,000 original miles on it. It's never been titled, and I drove it home, put it in the garage. 8 years later, the tires blew out. I mean, just in the heat of the thing. Yeah. The clock still worked. I don't know. I haven't put a battery in it yet, but I know that the brake system was trashed.
So you did the brakes?
I had to replace everything. Everything. Yeah. I mean, everything was.
And that's the thing too. It's like you get an old car and you kind of, like, on the Supra, I was so focused on just like getting it running. And here's another thing: it's like you put yourself out there online and people start criticizing you. It's like how come it's not you're not getting it running, Danny? You're doing the brakes. It's like no, as soon as it's running, I want to drive it. Like I don't have to worry about it leaking water through like the convertible top. I don't want to worry about hitting the brakes and like not be able to stop. I don't want to worry about like the turn signal not working. I don't want to worry about it not passing inspection, So yeah, I'm gonna replace the freaking wiper blades and make sure the washers squirt.
And it's sitting
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna replace the entire brake system. Like I guess it's not towards like that goal of getting it running, but it kind of is at the same time. So
I did all the brakes from front to back, and then Shyamalan actually was smart because I was gonna drain the fuel because it's got to be bad. We can't put a new hot vapor engine in and have old crappy fuel.
Yeah, of course
stuff. But Elaine bought brand new tank, brand new fuel pump, brand new everything on the fuel system.
Unit.
Oh, I gotta look for. On the Supra, I was thinking I would just like pour a bunch of fuel in there, shake it around, dump it out on the fire pit.
And I planned to do it. I thought, let me just drop the tank and see, because it's been a year.
There's a little
but she just said, and
I actually think that the Supra was in a flood. I think that the Supra was in a flood.
It kind of wouldn't really make sense of the cylinders. I mean, I've never seen cylinders that bad.
No, that was.
That didn't come from this. That's one that the guy gave you. That was local.
It sat here. I actually rediscovered him on Instagram the other day. The person who gave me that block.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm buying a cam position sensor off of him. So hopefully, but that was a different guy. The other guy that I'm going to buy the motor of, I think he was just tricking me to get my phone number because we've been talking all week.
He's supposed to going to deliver to at least bringing it up to San Antonio. So up there. So.
All right. Well, I'm disappointed because I was hoping I was going to get it. I was hoping I was going to go pick up an engine right now. That'd be great. Pat thinks that's funny. I do not think it's funny.
Yeah.
I'm angry about it. That's all. Now he's on my bad side. If he doesn't cope with the motor, I'm never talking to him again.
Yeah. So if anybody out there has a turbo 7M GE,
GTE.
GTE.
The T stands for turbo. So, you know, even if they don't, though, I mean, I feel like we're saying that there's something wrong with this block, and there's not something wrong with this block. It does need some work. You've all seen in my previous video that it had some pitting. However, like, all I have is a turbo block, and, you know, I'm still missing a whole bunch of stuff. Like, you know, obviously the old motor had a distributor. I need a cam position sensor, which is why I'm trying to buy another one off of this kid. And, you know, actually it was funny because I had the distributor and it had like the coil packs. It was very strange. It was very strange. A whole hodgepodge. But like, I mean, I'm even missing like the turbo dipstick, you know? So it's like, there's a whole bunch of like little pieces, parts I'm looking for. And if I could get a complete engine.
Oh, it's...
the knock sensors were all busted off the side. I didn't do that, people.
Stop hating. God, look at them.
They're not hating.
All right.
They're
So,
loving.
I think this is great. This
That's
is
a great
kind of
live stream.
improv.
Yep.
Drake?
Yep. Yeah. I see. I would be done installing my spring, but I need a 24mm wrench, so I will bring one next time. Shop Mom.
Shop Moms is locking it up.
All right.
We're
fantastic.
all right.
I gotta
So-
clean up and put my tools away.
You have to clean up and put her tools away.
All right.
I have to say goodbye and thanks, Terry.
Oh, wait.
Oh,
Pat was LOLing at Yoga Bit, who was talking, I think that's what he said. Yoga 37, who said if the brakes don't stop the car, something else will.
Oh.
So it wasn't about your.
That's a good shirt. That's a good shirt thing. We need, you know, the brakes don't stop the car.
And of course, everybody will keep an eye out for a 7M for you from all over the country.
Oh my
There
God.
you go.
The
Always.
expensive part is getting them home.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I will. Like, I have paid money to have people pick them up for me and deliver them. I'm also not opposed to a road trip.
Well, that's right.
So-
You did, and
Yeah, I had them shipped to me. I had 2 7Ms shipped from Atlanta, Georgia to me. So I'm not opposed. But right now, I'm at 6 7Ms. 7 7Ms would be, you know, that'd be fire. So
that's actually 7 7Ms.
Seven, yeah.
So
So
you need
7Ms.
one more.
I was looking
It's
for the
just-
license plate that was like I tried to get a custom license plate that was just like 7Ms, but I couldn't get it. In Texas, I guess you can't have 7Ms on a license plate. I know. I tried to get them.
Oh, that's too bad because when we were kids, like I'm 2nd of 7, right? Terry is 7th of 7. You could get license plates that say 1st of 7Ms rather than the 7M just by itself. 2nd of 7Ms.
Oh,
Go
so
with what my mom did. When you have 7 of them, you get 7 plates like that.
so 7 of 7Ms.
I need, yeah. I was just like, give me 7Ms. And then people would either get it or they wouldn't.
Well, no, most people won't get it. That's,
Most
no,
people
okay.
won't
sadly,
get it.
we live in a society where people are too self-absorbed to pay attention to anybody else.
Isn't that the truth?
Except
And
for present company, of course.
well, and that was what really amazed me was about that typewritten letter. I'm like, wow, someone's obsessed. Someone is very passionate.
We have the.
He might have been the hostage. I wonder
Yes.
if we discovered the hostage.
Oh, well, that's right.
If
I don't
so,
know,
the
but
letter
I
came.
did remember to go home and pray for that hostage.
Oh, good. I mean, if so, the hostage lives in Louisiana.
I forgot to hit thumbs up, and
Oh.
I hate to do that, but there's 25 people in here. Let's see 25 thumbs up, and then we're gonna get some. We always have a hostage. I looked over there and I thought, well, we don't have any thumbs up. I hit it. I hadn't even thumbs up my own. I felt bad. But now I'm number 2. I don't know who number 1 was, but thank
Actually, there are
you.
25 of them, Danny.
There's 25.
We're behind here.
We're behind. We're
all right. Well,
we're
I
lagging.
think
All
it's
right.
time. I cleaned up
Yeah,
some tools.
Peace
Yep.
and Assembly agrees.
And,
as Superman says, finally no hostages. You know what though, Superman? We had one a couple of weeks ago that if you go back and look, there are still no hostages on that video.
No way.
Don't- Somebody
Yes,
will- somebody will go-
promise.
Uh,
We went through a whole one with no hostages, and not even anybody coming in to watch it afterwards has decided to, vote their ignorance in public.
All right.
I still think it's my
Peace
grumpy
and
neighbor.
Assembly, grease boat.
Peace and assembly grease, everybody. Thank you, Faye, for showing up from the back. Thank you, Shop Mom. Thanks, everybody. Have a great Thanksgiving and peace and assembly
And
grease.
Brian,
Terry,
save us
thank
some
you.
of that green bean casserole.
Yes.
Oh, that sounds good.
Have a good Thanksgiving, everybody. Terry, we'll see you on the next
I'm all
one.
about that pumpkin pie, though.
Mm-mm.
It's my jams.